So, a very good evening to everyone present. First of all, many thanks for considering me worthy of this huge platform with such huge personalities as the co-speakers. So, actually, when I was heard first of that, when they requested me for the very first time, I was a little bit nervous because, as you know, that it is typically for the first time for me. Like, whatever the things, whatever the fight or whatever you talk about, it is not that I have shared with such a huge audience before. But one thing is certain, perhaps people sometimes will feel, but it is what I have feel by my life, is that if the life starts deviating from the usual course or usual track, then survival becomes much harder, as if a war with a shadow. So when in the 6 months of age I lost the vision on the left eye, and although the vision on the other eye was also very poor, but nevertheless my parents admitted me to school when I was only 2.5 years old. So, and that was the start. So, my mom, who has always been great enthusiastic about my studies, so I just, since the time, whenever I just was able to understand what books are, since then I had a great passion with them. Whenever I find any book, even if I don't understand what the context is, I like to browse over the pages. So still now that is my habit. Even now when I sit in my guide's room and I find some new book, I usually browse over the pages and ask sir what is written here. So, but somehow things were going on, but gradually as I grew up, my vision problem also became more and more. And during my HS, particularly at that time, things become such that I had to use a +20 power glass with a magnifier at hand. So at that time what used to happen during the exams was like that. Reading a question of say 4 marks will take me 5 minutes, and then I was left with only say 3 minutes to solve it, to be consistent with that time. Now, always this was not easy. Sometimes I was able, sometimes I was not able. But one thing is certain, that during my journey up to this point, I have not taken any kind of any undue advantage, and also don't want to take it in future as well. But this is a blessing of God that I have came in contact with many good persons who were my teachers, my professors, my friends and colleagues. Now, when but one person whose contribution has been immense, like perhaps many of you have heard of Helen Keller. So I read her autobiography. So one of her teacher who has really, actually her teacher, Miss Sullivan was her name, who has put light into her dark world. Just imagine a person who cannot see, cannot hear, cannot speak, So she has written such a wonderful autobiography. But it was not possible without that person, Suleiman, because when I read her autobiography, she wrote that when a person of this time, when she asked her teacher, Miss Suleiman, what a sea is, and how a person like this will understand a sea? If one thing is that if you can describe her, that she is like that, but it won't work, right? Not work that in that way, in the real sense. So what she did, she put her, when she was a small child, she put her into the sea. And then the wave came, she was lifted, and then she was quite almost going to drown. And then again Suleiman went and took her back to the shore. And then she understood that this is the sea. So my point is that whenever she has written about her teacher, she just wrote that she is like Moses to me. She is the light in my dark world. So I think such a light, whenever God put darkness to someone's world, that person is always supplied with a light. So in my case, it's my mom. Because since her childhood, whatever has happened, because when in the second years of my college, my vision on the other eye also was gone, my father got depressed, but my mom said, no, he will not stop, I won't let him stop. So, and one thing that I understood at that time was that if I give up now, it's over, all over. So probably that's the motivation which has driven me afterwards. Then in St. Xavier's, when I became the topper, my confidence gain was increased a lot. And after that, I got the chance to study here at IIT. And getting chance in IIT is like the partial fulfillment of one of my dream in life. Because since my childhood, I had a dream of being an engineer. So although it was not fulfilled, but obviously reaching IIT is some sort of a fulfillment of that. So when I came here, there were many ifs and buts. But what also Kailash sir mentioned sometimes earlier, that this is a place with many good hearts. So who knows it better than me? Whoever I approached, he may be my professor, any administrative person, anyone, they has helped me in whatever way they can to provide me a platform so that I can fight with other normal students. Frankly speaking, I have never thought of such big things. That I fear to think of these big things. What the thing I only try is to do something consistently, and that's the thing. So probably it's the blessing of God and the best wishes of all of you that I was able to get that medal. Now, often people ask me, how do you able to solve mathematical problems in your brain? So definitely I am not a Superman or a God. Okay, I am just a normal person like you people only. but it's the immense practice, that much only I can say. And probably many of you know that right now I am doing PhD here, and my area is cryptology and network security. So now question comes that why cryptography? There are other branches of mathematics also. Then why? So while studying mathematics, I have found that there are many areas where excellent research has been done, but due to the lack of its application, the research people forgot that, and maybe after 100 years some person finds some application and then it comes to light, that research. So I don't say that doing this kind of research is bad, because ultimately it has got some usage. But what my point was that to do something which has indirect application with our everyday life. And probably some of you or many of you know that nowadays cryptography has entered in our daily life. Knowingly or unknowingly, we are using cryptography every day. It may be sending a data with Bluetooth, it may be drawing money from the ATM, everywhere. And another thing is that there is also one conception among many people that cryptography is a subject of computer background. Where is the usage of mathematics in cryptography? But let me tell you that without mathematics, cryptography cannot move even a single step. All of us has heard about prime numbers, right? When we are very small, all of us have heard about prime numbers. So normally, even I also think that prime numbers are bad because they don't get divisible by other numbers and create problem everywhere. So every problem there is if the number is prime, then surely there is some problem. The answer is not coming, this kind of a feeling. But can you tell me one way that prime number could help us in life? That I found in cryptography, okay? So perhaps many of you have heard about the famous crypto system called RSA, which is in use in lot of practical application also, such as the internet, data transfer, etc. So there I found that this RSA setting is totally dependent on the existence of prime numbers. Like if prime numbers are not there, we would not be able to establish a strong system. Because you see, the simple reason is that if suppose I ask you, give me a prime of say 4 digit, probably you will give me 1 minute. But if I ask that, give me a prime of say 100 digits, probably it will take hundreds of years, right? So that idea is used there, that factorizing large number is hard. And there are also other applications of very good applications of finite fields and other number theoretic aspects in cryptography. So it's basically maths, you know. So, and another thing is that I don't know how far I will be able to contribute in that area, but I am really looking forward to do something which is quite worthwhile. And that was the only motto of because whenever I think something, I always think that it should be worthwhile. Otherwise, what's the point doing it? So one thing I know that all of you are with me. So let's see. Many thanks.